of my friends say, girl, you better take care.
Yes, people, quit being irritable. Don't let this get you down, because they're going to come at you right and left. Don't be irritable, because what are they doing now? Y'all know this guy right here? Let's take a look at him. I call him the raw hamburger man. This is the idiot that's so proud of himself. We will win. We will win. Had a hamburger on the grill, raw as can be, got smoke coming off it. Wasn't grill smoke, with cheese on it. And what he's doing to us is cannibalism, because he's eating us dry. Been doing it for years. Chewing us up and spitting us out. And y'all are going right there with him. He's worried about his job with AOC, where he stands. He's shutting the government down. Millions of people. And then on top of that, this is what I can't fathom. Trump found another way through the Pentagon with headstake to pay the troops. He's even had a couple people come forward and tell him, multi-billionaires, that they would pay for the troops. Do not settle down or give in and let them take us back to paying all these indecisive immigrants hundreds and millions and trillions, 1.5 trillion, y'all, of debt. You think they care about Americans? I just read that list out to you that Trump, they've been working on Elon, kudos to them, cut out. They want to put all that fat back in there. We're already 37.5 in debt, 1.5 trillion, 38. That's 39 trillion in change. This caghead, non-caring, carrot-nosed son of a gun wants to put us back into. And they care about you, and y'all standing out there jumping up and down. Stop making them make a fool out of you by pushing the lyrics. You will fight, put a target on somebody's back, you will fight. They're racist. Y'all got to look at, yeah, there is some anarchy going on. There is some racism going on. There is some wannabe kings going on. There is some controlling. There is democracy taken away. Look at what's doing. The one that's yelling it and screaming it is out of control. People, they done took your democracy. They took it already. And they just working on it harder. Let's take a look at what he has to say, because it's so vitally important. The other side seems to think so.
Every day they're getting these these notifications of how much they're going to pay, and people are just struck of the difficulty they will be in. Not having health care,
not being
able to pay the rent if they pay for health care.
They're just
shocked at how bad this is. And Trump has an obligation to negotiate and solve this problem. Every day they're getting these notifications of how much they're going to pay, and people are just struck of the difficulty they will be in. Not having health care, not being able to pay the rent if they pay for health care. They're just shocked at how bad this is. And Trump has an obligation to negotiate with us and solve this problem.
So, you see what I'm saying? Every day he's talking about people getting bills they have to pay, and it's a notification for it. But they are fantasizing on it and hoping that it gets to the point to where you can't afford it. They want you to be in a corner where you can't afford your house. They want you to be in a corner where you broke. Where's the next dime coming from? Guess what? All of a sudden you got to depend on them. This is what they want. And it's called controlling you. Their emphasis are on controlling you. And it's not a good thing. There's nothing good about it. And if we don't wake up soon and get a hold of ourselves, we're going to be in a world of trouble. Because like I said, there's a segment I'm going to bring out where the truckers are begging for Trump to make some changes. They're taking our jobs. Farmers, a lot of the farmers that aren't working them, that are working the fields with equipment, Trump is going to take care of them too, because these guys are killing the farmers. They're like leeches. They come over here and it's just sudden destruction with everything. And that's where we at with it. Let's take a look at this. See if we can bring this up. And these will give us a basic idea of what we into.
Article that was published, and it was about Mark Zuckerberg investing $500 million in a Get Out the Democrat Vote campaign. And they focused on the swing states, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and they focused, and what they did is they basically did what I would refer to as agency capture, and they went in and they captured the county clerks and the secretaries of states in these states, and they basically said, we have a Get Out the Vote campaign program, and if you will implement it exactly the way that we say that you must implement it, we will give you massive amounts of money to run your elections. Mm-hmm. But if you do not run it the way that we say, then we can claw all that money back. Well, think about it. If you're a small county in Wisconsin and you get $300,000 from Mark Zuckerberg's foundation to make sure that there are drop boxes in your Democrat-heavy areas, that you've got an RV going around and hauling people into the polling places to vote. When you do that, if you do not carry out, you take that money, you sign that contract, and you do not do exactly what that foundation said, you were going to have to use public money to pay it back. You most likely would have ended up in prison. I mean, that's just one example of the way that the election was rigged. The Mark Zuckerberg money was huge.
Let's, for the moment, stick with the topic at hand, which is the wholesale sedition, treason, deep state crimes that were committed right out in front of everybody. Let's go to clip number 26 here. How a secret group of people were able to overthrow the election in 2020, courtesy of Mark Zuckerberg. Again, all of this stuff, they did out in the open, they did under the color of law, but all of it was in abject violation of the statutes that are there to dictate the government's behavior in these instances. So when it came to mail-in ballots, they were implemented outside of the process. They didn't go through the correct system that they're supposed to go through to change these rules. The rules about elections are supposed to be handled by the state legislature, and if they want to change the rules, they want to add mail-in ballots, if they want to have drop boxes, they're supposed to go through a process because you're supposed to ensure that such changes will be implemented in a safe, secure, and effective way. So you want people arguing about it. You want people debating it. You want people bringing up issues. Well, if we do this, how are we going to protect against this? If we have mail-in ballots, how are we going to confirm that it's the right people that we're mailing in? You want to have that back and forth so that if a change gets implemented, all of these things have been considered and, accounted for as laws implemented. That's not what they did. They just, by fiat, had secretaries of state say, we are now doing mail-in ballots, we are now going to have drop boxes on every corner, and we have absolutely no way of guaranteeing that any vote cast is the one that gets counted, or if anybody sends in their vote, it actually gets to the right place. In fact, they put in restrictions and policies that deliberately made it impossible to actually tell if your vote was counted. And in some cases, like in Detroit, and I'm sure elsewhere, but Detroit is where the leaked audio is from, they actually trained the vote counters, the election poll workers, to take mail-in ballots, even if the person shows up in person, even if the voter shows up, says, I did not mail a ballot in, I'd like to vote today, then the official instruction to the poll workers was allow them to vote on a temporary ballot and then throw that ballot in the trash and count whatever ballot was mailed in. Even if the person themselves, verbatim in their own words, told the people, I did not send in a ballot, it didn't matter. If there was a ballot with their name on it that got sent in, that was the one that counted. And you tricked the person by acting like they were allowed to vote, and then you throw their vote in the trash and count the one that was sent in, even though they said not to. One of the many instances of the ways that the 2020 election was absolutely rigged. At this point, it's obvious because the vote total that was astronomically high in 2020 went back to normal in 2024. Gee, how does that happen? Let's go to clip 26 now.
I want to ask about if you've changed position on what happened in the 2020 election.
Oh, I think it was rigged.
You think it was rigged?
Yeah, I know more now than I did then. All you have to do is in February of 2021, there was a Time magazine article that was published, and it was about Mark Zuckerberg investing $500 million in a Get Out the Democrat Vote campaign. And they focused on the swing states, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and they focused, and what they did is they basically did what I would refer to as agency capture, and they went in and they captured the county clerks and the secretaries of states in these states, and they basically said, we have a Get Out the Vote campaign program, and if you will implement it exactly the way that we say that you must implement it, we will give you massive amounts of money to run your elections. Mm-hmm. But if you do not run it the way that we say, then we can claw all that money back. Well, think about it. If you're a small county in Wisconsin and you get $300,000 from Mark Zuckerberg's foundation to make sure that there are drop boxes in your Democrat-heavy areas, that you've got an RV going around and hauling people into the polling places to vote. When you do that, if you do not carry out, you take that money, you sign that contract, and you do not do exactly what that foundation said, you were going to have to use public money to pay it back. You most likely would have ended up in prison. I mean, that's just one example of the way that the election was rigged. The Mark Zuckerberg money was huge. $500 million concentrated in Democrat counties for the purpose of getting out the Democrat vote.
How do you know it was to get the Democrat vote out? Because how does it exactly do? What are the mechanics of that, of how it functioned?
You just have to read the article. Okay. And what the article does is it lays it out, and the title is something along the lines of how a secret group of people were able to save the 2020 election, meaning how were they able to get Joe Biden elected.
They literally rigged it right out in front of everybody. We know exactly who did it and how they did it. We just haven't had justice yet, in part because, Jack Smith was appointed to go after the people that were actually investigating this stuff. So, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest issues when it comes to the deep state are Russiagate, the 2020 election, COVID-19, and January 6th. And there are a lot more if we want to get into it, but I think these are the four things we need to get justice on. And it seems like Trump is moving forward on all of these fronts. The problem is the deep state swamp creatures are still in control of the DOJ. They're still the prosecutors. They're still the judges. Solve that problem.
Boy, oh boy. I'll tell you guys a secret. I tell you, I do the stock market, and I'm not an advisor for anyone, but I'll be getting into that probably a little bit more, and just telling you facts of what I did. You have to be sturdy, not emotional, and able to control yourself. That's one of the biggest things I learned with the stock market. To get your gains, do your due diligent homework, but you have to be in control of things and not an emotional person. I was into Facebook with Zuckerberg, all of his trading, and did very well at it. But I grew to dislike the Scarface little sucker, how nasty he was. And his reason was he was throwing I read about all this 300, 400 million as cities controlling them with the narrative of money. They're driving around dropping off people to all the voting sectors, had ballot boxes everywhere that they bust people in. Some of them got to vote twice. They voted over on this corner, got up and went to this corner and voted. But, they got rid of the overall trueness of it, fairness of it, because, as they were saying, if you told them you didn't vote for this or didn't vote for that, and you just wanted to vote now, they take your ballot, throw it away, and use the one that they wanted. So I haven't had his investment. I don't care how good he does. And he's doing very well. I stick with Tesla and NVIDIA, and I do a little bit of Apple. I'm into Joby, those type of things that are growing and moving, and tons of them I'm into, but it's not a good thing. And it's taken from you. Just taken from you with every tool that he has. Everything he's working with, he's destroying you. Wicked. I mean, Zuckerberg's wicked. And just stay to myself on that one. But this is what goes on in that world. You're not recognized in that world. You're not a part of that world. You're a tool to be used and to successfully get by with. And once they're done using you, they're done. And when we started having a problem with Americans finding out and standing up for themselves, that's when you became a problem. And you wasn't needed anymore. Really, you wasn't needed anymore. And it came down to...
That was documented according to the Post.
It came down to them controlling the narrative. And once, it's terrible how they operate. Once they don't need you in a situation, your wings are clipped. You're done. And it's just like that. You are done. And the process leads to something else. Let's take a look at this and get an idea of what's going on. Because it's crazy, the idea of what's happening.
You won't meet with them until the government's open.
The government has to be open, yeah. The government has to be open. You know how long it would take for them to do that? Just say, okay, government's open, that's it. There is nothing.
How long
They're
do you
not
think it's
negotiating.
gonna go?
What they're doing is saying they lost the negotiation, and when we got the great big beautiful deal done, they lost that negotiation. Now they're saying, well, we want to get some of the things we lost. But the problem is the things they lost are very bad for our country. We don't want to have people come over from all over the world, from prisons and all, and have them have their health care paid for. We want to take care of people that are American citizens and all. So they want $1.5 trillion of money to be wasted and jeopardize the health care of other people. We're not going to do that. So I would love to meet with them. We want the country open first.
To be clear, you won't meet with them
Okay.
until the
You
government's
see
open.
what Donald Trump's saying? That he doesn't have a problem meeting with them, but it's going to be on the basis and the faces of the people that hired him. And he's dedicated to that. Don't you know there's millions and millions and millions and billions of dollars Trump could get if he crossed over? forget about you. My goodness, he's doing very well just suing these fake news channels. Very well. Because he's catching them right and left in their lies, cheating, disloyalty, and framing. Catching them very well. So, and he hasn't broke his standing or his promise, and it makes you feel sort of good. There is somebody in politics you can trust a little bit. Maybe not all the way, but you can trust a little bit. And that's saying a lot. A heck of a lot. And last but least, this is what some of the programs are doing that he had enacted, and it's going to be great for Americans. This is the H-1B program. Even Walmart's acting on it. And people tell me, well, we're losing jobs, Yeah, maybe so. But it's opening up jobs for the American people. Insurance for the American people. And everybody tell me, well, look what's happening. We got no jobs. People's not working. No, a lot of people have lost jobs, but those are American jobs. And the wages will go up, and it's for the American people. Take a look at it. Just take a look at it.
And this pretty much ensures that that's what's going to happen. I think, Sean, you agree with that?
Well, they're $100,000 per year. So the whole idea is no more will these big tech companies or other big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee. So it's just not economic. If you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land. Train Americans, stop bringing in people to take our jobs. That's the policy here. $100,000 a year for H-1B visas, and all of the big companies are on board. We've spoken to them about it.
They love it. They love it. They really love it. They need it.
Other visas or student visas, does this apply to them or to renewals, or does it only apply to people applying for the first time from abroad?
Renewals, first times, the company needs to decide, do they want, is that person valuable enough to have $100,000 a year payment to the government, or they should head home and they should go hire an American. The whole idea, it's annual, and it's for total.
Shoot down that competition.
So $100,000 a year, so either the person is very valuable to the company and America, or they're going to depart and the company's going to hire an American, and that's the point of immigration. Hire Americans and make sure the people coming in are the top people. Stop the nonsense of letting people just come into this country on these visas that were given away for free. President is Chris.
No more people. This is great. They're trying to fight him. And people, this is crazy. This is for the good of America. They're trying to fight him on the tariffs. I think it's over 10 to 20 trillion dollars. I have to check it to be sure, but it's way up in the trillions that he's got coming back to America. Stock markets booming. Anything gonna do them but get better the following year. He's got the overall interest rate coming down. Our kids will be able to afford a home. If you never had a home, you'll be able to afford it. The American dream, something that was attentively totally out of reach. And how do you feel about this? Y'all are jumping around in the streets, yay, yay, yay. You can't even afford a home. But a Mexican comes here, he's walking right past you, not living in a house that was built 8 years ago, 10 years ago. We talking brand new. They ain't driving no darn Fords, Cadillac, Audi, Mercedes. I even seen them in a Bentley. Not that I don't want them to have it, but help me out, brother. How you doing this? How are you doing this and I'm not able to do it? And I'm working. I know that God, I go home, can't even spell my name. I'm so tired. I go home and actually stand up and go to sleep. Old lady tell you, I'm out. What you got in the food? You drugging me or something wrong? I'm wore out. You know, make it seem right to me. Help me understand it. And if it's something I'm missing, yeah, like I said, it's community. I'm all for the next man. I will praise you. I will stand up with you. I'm not a hypocrite. I will believe in you. And if you choose to do so, teach me a little bit what you know, because information is gold. To learn something from somebody, I take it this way. You teach me something, I'm going to get it the first time, just to show you how much I appreciate it. Because you don't have to show me anything. I could go through the hard knocks and try and make it. And I'm going to praise that. You'll be proud that you showed me, because I'm going to honor it. I'm going to caress it. I'm going to do what I got to do to evolve with it and get better than you with it. And that's when a person really appreciates what you tell them and what you show them. And if I work for something, by God, I want what I work for. I give you 150 hours. I want $150 worth of pay. If I give you double the amount of time of work, I want you to look upon me and say, hey, this is a good man. And the one way to honor him is to make sure he has a good job, make sure he has the same equity and time in things as other people do, because he's a hard worker, even to the point where you're saying, I'm a diligent worker, because I'm going to give you 200%. At least try and give me 150 back. But the Democrats have taken this thing and whirled it all the way around. You give 200%, they give you 20. If they give you that, and they're taking all your money from you, all your time, everything, and you are nothing. And then at the end, it's like taking an old dog or horse out to the field, put a mark on his back, kill him. We've gotten all we can get out of him. There's no good to us. And I hate to be the one that's narrating that and pushing good, honest people to the side. And y'all Americans need to wake up. Do you know how many Americans are crying and hurting over work and succeeding? And y'all are out here jumping up and down. Trump's a fascist, Trump a fascist. It's so stupid. I'm sorry, people. But take a look at it. Hey, it don't take much. Even if your finger's bad, open up the book. You can't read it, go by syllables. And if you can't do none of that, put the book in front of you like this right here. And don't let them see you looking at them too much, but look at their action, their ways and stuff. This man's not accepting money for this. Y'all have tortured him, beat him up, put him in jail, 300-400 years you're talking about putting on him. For life. Making a life out of him. For what? And then old Big Tish, who ain't nothing but a big witch, is doing that and more. She got him on one building, but she got 3 or 4 that she's doing this with. That shouldn't even be a trial. And she ran on the idea, saying she'd find something on Trump because people were mad to get rid of him. People, this is going to be a good show for y'all people. In a roundabout way, we're going to round this thing out. And y'all know I care the heck about y'all. Just from what we're doing now with, quench the thirst with a cup of tea, a coffee cup, buys of coffee, also doing PayPal. And we're going to have the receipts. We're not spending the money. We're building a brand. We're building a company. And we're building something that's all about you. There are a million people on YouTube, but they ain't doing what we doing. Just in our signs, our flashing signs and telling you, hey, there's something going on in your food. Protect yourself from this. Hey, this is what's going on in life. Look out for it. Answering your comments, your questions on top of it. We're going to get so good that when you write in, we're going to write right back. Started that tonight. We're an hour apart on some of it. You know what I'm saying? What was the last gentleman's name that called in? Truth. But we're right on it. I think I got it right here. Real truth. And I thank you, brother, for signing up. I hope you sign up. And I want you to be a part of the family. Remember, you're 72% of y'all that are looking at the channel. Come on, y'all, do me a favor, I'm begging you. Hit that thumbs up button, like, share, and subscribe, and give us a comment. Let us put our money where our mouth is. See, we're starting out with something different already. We're not waiting to get monetized because my people are hurting now. And if we can build up cash funds for them to help them out, don't matter where they come from, it's what we do with them. And remember, God's looking at you with everything you do. You say you're going to do it, don't talk about it, be about it. And that's what we are here. Like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Keep bringing people in, keep signing up. We love you. We'll see you on the next one.